Sustainability. What comes to mind when we hear sustainability? Is it the food we eat, the land we harvest, the environment we live in, the very air we breathe? Sustainability is a concept which dates back to the late 19th century when a conservation movement was developed in response to the destruction of native virgin forests from logging, conversion to agriculture, and extinction species. This led to the emergence of conservation laws in the early 20th century which protected public lands, water, soils, forests, and wildlife. The chemicals, pesticides, and other harmful substances being released into the air from industrial development had sparked concerns among the public, which led U.S. President Richard Nixon to establish Earth Day and the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, in 1970. Hi, I'm Jonathan Heppner, Montana Dietetic Intern. Now, over the years, sustainability is becoming more popular as demand for locally grown food has been on the rise. Sustainability is a practice that millions of people across the globe are trying to implement more into their communities in order to feed, as well as meet the needs of the population while preserving resources. Sustainability is a complex but also serious issue which should not be taken lightly, especially when providing for the entire world. Some key factors I like to discuss and have you all take away are identifying what sustainability is and how it's being practiced, getting perception from consumers in Montana about what they know about sustainable food systems and how it's being implemented, and why it's important for registered dietitians to have knowledge about sustainable food systems and how we, as RDs, can be supportive in this field. First, what is sustainability? According to the United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development, sustainability is defined as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. To give a couple examples of how sustainability is being practiced, different forms of farming systems such as rooftop farms, rooftop greenhouses, vertically integrated greenhouses, vertical farms, and shipping container farms are developing across major cities worldwide and promoting urban agriculture. Among these different types of farms, rooftop farming is the most popular since rooftops represent large, unutilized, solar-exposed urban areas. Research has measured the potential of North American and European cities for self-reliance on food that if they were to only use their vacant urban space in what is called zero-acreage farming, about 77 to 100% of vegetable urban demand can be met depending on the amount of space available and the farming methods to be implemented, leading to different yields. It has been claimed by many authors that high-yielded urban agriculture can decrease carbon footprint emission compared to rural agriculture by reducing biofuel usage from food being transported, since food is being grown within the city. Different studies have used plant growth models and available data on yields to estimate the yields of building integrated agriculture farms, finding that they can lead to considerable economic gains. In addition to providing access to locally fresh and nutritious food, urban agriculture brings volunteers and creates jobs, youth educational programs, and community ties, giving people the opportunity to recouple with the source of their food. In a 2014 study, the concentrations of different antioxidants, which help protect the body from infections and free radicals found in peppers, were quantified while being grown under 4 soil management practices, including yard waste, sewage sludge, chicken manure, and no-much bare soil, and monitoring the antioxidant concentrations of the peppers while growing and ripening from green into red. It was determined that the peppers grown in the yard waste soil ended up having the most capsaicin and dihydrocapsaicin. When the different colored peppers were analyzed, it was found that the orange and red contained the most beta-carotene and sugar content, while the green peppers contained the most phenols and ascorbic acid. The marketing yield increased by 34% and 15% in the sewage sludge and chicken manure soil compared to the no-much bare soil, whereas the number of coles or fruits which failed to meet the requirements of foregoing grades were lower in yard waste compared to the sewage sludge and chicken manure soil. This suggests that using certain compost soil types may enhance the nutrition of peppers, although further research is needed in order to fully determine the impact of recycled waste on bioactive compounds in crops grown under this practice. Policies also seem to be playing a key factor in sustainable food systems. In July of 2018, four of the nation's largest food companies, including Danone North America, Mars Incorporated, Nestle USA, and Unilever United States, initiated the Sustainable Food Policy Alliance, which is a new organization that focuses on promoting public policies which shape the way people eat and how it impacts their health. As the alliance, the different companies prioritize U.S. public policy in 5 crucial areas, including consumer transparency, food safety, nutrition, environment, and people and communities, with nutrition labeling and carbon emissions being 2 significant policy areas they would like to focus on. One of the quotes from the leaders of the 4 companies in the joint statement specified, "We are committed to a collaborative approach and to listen and learn about issues affecting all parts of our food system, from the field to the store shelf and beyond. We understand that we don't have all the answers and will rely on the best available evidence-based science information to inform our positions. We will be transparent at how we reach our decisions and what we hope to achieve." These are just a few examples, while there are many other methods of sustainability being practiced. In order to better understand how our food system works, it is important to understand other people's perspective and what they know about the food they are purchasing and consuming when they are purchasing at grocery stores, supermarkets, food banks, or food pantries. What does sustainability mean to you?
That our food will be here with us for a very long time and preferably healthy.
Are you aware of where your food comes from?
Generally.
Generally?
Farms.
Okay.
Ranches. Yeah.
Okay. How important is it for you to know where your food comes from?
Very important.
Do you think sustainable food systems are having an impact on Montana's environment?
No.
Okay. And how?
I am not too familiar with any sustainable food systems in Montana at the moment.
Okay.
And locally.
Okay. Do you think sustainable food systems are having an impact on Montana's environment?
I believe it's catching on more and more. People are more interested in that, yes.
Okay. Do you think sustainable food systems do they impact you personally?
Absolutely, yes. Yes,
Okay.
and it's very important.
Good. After hearing other people's insight, it seems most people in Montana have a basic and knowledgeable understanding about sustainable food systems and where their food comes from. As a trend appears to be growing in Montana, more people are beginning to develop an interest in the idea of sustainability. According to a 2015 study in which an online survey was initiated to U.S. and Canadian consumers regarding eco-friendly and sustainable terms, in relation to Canadian respondents, U.S. respondents were 6.4% less likely to perceive certified as a characteristic of eco-friendly, 3.8% less likely to associate certified, and 3.3% less likely to associate locally produced with sustainable. This shows that even though the development of sustainable foods is becoming more common, there are still those out there who are not fully aware and are lacking education about sustainability. This brings us to the involvement of RDs in sustainable food systems. Why is it so important for RDs to have background knowledge about sustainable food systems? According to the USDA, 16.6 million children live in households which are unable to adequately feed them. In 2015, the United Nations estimated the world's population to grow by 2 billion over the next 35 years, putting the world at a population of 9.7 billion people by 2050, which is a lot of mouths to feed with limited food to go around. If this estimation is true, this will cause an increase in urbanization and wealth. With increased urbanization, competition for natural resources such as land, soil, and water will be larger, which may result in land being bought out by large corporations and companies, making it more difficult for food to be grown locally and providing for communities. Due to reduction of land, there will be an increased demand for westernized dietary patterns, which involves a higher consumption and intake of animal-based foods, sugar, fat, and processed foods. This dietary behavior may then lead to an escalated development of diseases such as obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and other diseases. In order to make sure we have a future that can provide nutritionally adequate food to our growing population in a healthy and sustainable manner, our food system needs to change. So what can we, as RDs, do about this? Since our profession revolves around food and promoting good public health, we have the knowledge and competency to educate others who may know very little or nothing at all about sustainable food systems, with some helpful tips for supporting sustainability, such as shopping locally, eating seasonally, keeping money within the community by supporting local farms, businesses, and sustainable agriculture through purchasing decisions, while encouraging food providers to support local food, as well as sharing values with others who are mindful of how their food arrives on their plates. Those who may benefit from education include, but not limited to, are consumers who shop for their own food, school board officials, city councils, farm groups, hospital kitchens, restaurants, and other establishments in the food service industry. RDs can work in food pantries as well as food banks, supermarkets as retail dietitians, food service systems management in assisting with purchasing and supplying locally grown ingredients for restaurants or hospital kitchens to be used in recipes, schools, and local farms. RDs have the capability of partnering with and serving as leaders on sustainability committees, food policy councils, city councils, and school boards in creating and implementing policies for producing and having access to locally grown and healthy food. We also support policies, environments, and systems in promoting progression of healthy and sustainable food and water systems associated with developing food production, processing, distributing, marketing, retailing, and waste management practices. The list does not stop here, as every day new methods of RDs being engaged within the community in promoting locally grown food are being performed. Food is our medicine, our way of life, and our very survival. If we are to continue to feed a growing world, we need to be aware of what sustainability is and how it's being practiced, make sure others are aware of where their food and our food system is coming from, and step up as RDs in brainstorming creative ways of providing food that is healthy for the economy, environment, and the people. Let your voice be heard, whether it is 1,000 voices or just one voice. We all have the potential to make a significant and healthy impact in our food system. I'm Jonathan Heppner, Montana Dietetic Intern. Thanks for watching.